This is CBC Here and Now.
Fuel costs at Marine Atlantic are at an all-time low.
So why is there a fuel surcharge? And where's that money going?
Where to draw the line? Which creatures should be classified emotional support animals?
Curlers like about 4.5 to 5 feet of curl.
And this man has to make that happen. He is the ice maker.
Well, heavy snow set for areas of Labrador, Central and East. It's rain. Back to snow on the island tonight. Temperatures tumbling. The details are coming up.
Well, how much more snow can people handle in Happy Valley Goose Bay? Some residents say they've never seen this much snow in their lives.
Now, while some snow lovers, of course, are rejoicing, just about everyone is concerned about where to put all that white stuff. Here and Now's Jacob Barker reports.
The piles of snow continue to grow here. That has Jamie Abbas going flat out.
And we're doing our best to keep everybody happy, but at the same time, it's getting a bit hard to find places to put the snow.
Big stacks in between property lines keep getting higher and higher.
You know, it's getting harder to back out of the driveways, so a lot of people want us to cut the banks off and push snow somewhere else. And at the same time, you know, you've got to be wary of neighbors too. You don't want to kind of infringe on anybody's yard.
Abbas's business deals mainly in construction, but this winter he's got snow clearing contracts.
We have to then try to manage expectations for our construction sites, where we have to have a bit of time away and a smaller workforce in order to manage.
There's about 180 centimeters of snow on the ground right now at Goose Bay Airport. That's 70 more than last year and the most to start out February in decades.
And that's the result of the big dump of snow.
Town Councillor Sean Cran is still coping with the nearly 40 centimeters that fell this past Wednesday.
I do have a barbecue right here. Right now it's under about 8 feet of snow, so I figure probably in July we'll be able to have a T-bone steak on the barbecue.
He says since it's the beginning of the year, the town is well within its budget. But if it keeps falling at this pace, more expensive actions may have to be taken.
If it gets to a point, you know, that it gets too high, in the past, in certain parts of town where there's a lot of traffic congestion, we can truck it, but that's not something that's in the budget.
And while it's been a pretty nice day today, the snow's back. It just started snowing a little while ago. Ryan can tell us a little more about that and put this all into perspective.
Oh, thanks very much, Jacob. Great story there, and great to hear and see everybody on the ground trying to deal with that much snow. And let's put it into a little bit of perspective for you. This is, of course, February, and as Jacob mentioned, 180 centimeters, give or take a couple of centimeters on the ground now. And that is a lot of snow, of course. And in fact, it's the most snow since 1980, and that is the record. February 1980, 202 centimeters is the February record. The actual all-time record dating back to 1955 at the airport, well, that record was set in March of 1978. 206 centimeters of snow on the ground, and that's what we're talking about. Not in terms of actual snow through the season, but how much does it build up? And these are the records, and boy, this month and this year getting awfully close to 1980 and 1978, the February record and the all-time record. And guess what? More snow on the menu. As Jacob mentioned, it started snowing there now. 15 to 20 centimeters looking pretty likely for Happy Valley Goose Bay tonight, and across into the southeast where along the coast we could see even 25 to 30. The island will get back into a little bit of snow through the overnight tonight, in through tomorrow, but in the long range it's more rain for the island, and yes, more snow for Happy Valley Goose Bay and eastern parts of Labrador. We'll talk more about that coming up in your long range forecast. The weekend in full detail in just a few. Debbie?
The aquaculture industry here says it just can't be done. Land-based salmon farms can't turn a profit. Well, don't tell that to Nordic Aqua Farms.
There's been a bit of a shift in mentality on the investment side.
That Norwegian company is investing in the state of Maine to build a 40-acre land-based salmon farm in the United States.
Eventually, they're looking at $500 million in total.
Students and staff at a high school on the West Coast spent much of the afternoon locked in their classrooms. The RCMP say Stephenville High went into a lockdown around 1 o'clock after school board officials received a threat. Police won't reveal what kind of threat was made, but they say no one was injured. Afternoon exams were being written at the time, and one student reports seeing some officers outside with guns drawn. So with the West Coast, the water emergency has eased a little in Howley. The town has finally managed to get water pumping again after contractors installed a temporary line. Residents can resume normal water use, but they are being advised to conserve as only one pump is working. Drinking water is available at the local community center. There's been a state of emergency in the community since Monday when water stopped flowing through the main intake line from nearby Sandy Lake.
MHA Jerry Byrne says Marine Atlantic has been overcharging customers millions of dollars for years. But the Crown Corporation says that's not true, and Byrne's figures are based on outdated information. Here now's Janelle Kelly reports.
In 2 months, Marine Atlantic will increase its fuel surcharge to 18%. Despite oil prices being low, it predicts fuel costs will jump dramatically by 2020 as its vessels transition to new marine diesel required by environment regulations. That new, cleaner fuel costs 39% more than the traditional bunker C.
We're projecting approximately a $6 million increase in our fuel costs this year, and next year, of course, we're expecting it to go up even further by another $4 million.
But Mercer's explanation isn't adding up for MHA Jerry Byrne. He says Marine Atlantic actually spent less money on fuel in 2017 than it has in years.
If you trace back year over year over year, how much money was collected in the fuel surcharge, what was the actual expenditure on an annual basis on fuel, and what was the difference, Marine Atlantic over the last 10-year period has overcharged, overcollected $34.4 million from Marine Atlantic customers.
According to Marine Atlantic, Byrne's figures are based on a regulation that hasn't even existed for nearly 8 years.
In 2010, the Government of Canada rescinded that directive and based it on a whole different bunch of variables that included the international price of fuel, consumption, what we would have in our storage tanks. So there's a number of different factors that were considered.
Byrne says Marine Atlantic is just using environmental fuel regulations to charge an unnecessary fee to its customers, and that shouldn't be happening without proper documentation.
What we do know is that the documentation says that in 2007 a fuel surcharge was imposed, that it was based on a particular formula. There are references to the formula in the documentation that's available. However hard you got to work for it, but it's there. There's no reference to the 2010 supposed change. There needs to be an inquiry.
Whether or not there is an inquiry, consumers should be prepared to pay 3% more for Marine Atlantic's fuel surcharge, effective April 1st. Janelle Kelly, CBC News, St. John's.
It's your journey, but you don't always have to travel by yourself.
So why not travel with these guys? An iguana? A peacock? Where do we draw the line on emotion support animals? Many of us love animals, our pets, but for some people with mental health issues, animals are an emotional lifeline. Here and Now recently told you about a man on the West Coast who suffers from PTSD, and he had a problem with officials at a mall in Corner Brook who didn't want his emotional support animal allowed inside that mall. We've also told you about how some people at MUN receive comfort from these reptiles. They're called bearded dragons. And now an emotional support peacock is in the news after United Airlines refused to let it board a flight with its owner. Well, how do these animals help their owners? And can any creature be deemed an emotional support animal? Well, it just so happens to be National Psychology Month, so we invited Janine Hubbard to join us. She's president of the Association of Psychology for the province. Good to see you again.
Hi, nice to be here.
So what's the science? How do these animals help people with mental health issues?
Okay, well, there's a few things that we know, and I should caution that the research is just starting to emerge in terms of good quality studies.
Okay.
In particular, we've got reasonable research around vets with PTSD using dogs. Beyond
War
that,
vets, just to be clear.
Yes, sorry, yes. So beyond that, the research is a little inconsistent, a little bit sketchy. We know it can be incredibly helpful for things like PTSD, but it's not necessarily targeting the emotional piece in the way you might think, but it's more encouraging individuals with PTSD to go out into their community, to get out and get fresh air, exercise. If you're out with a dog, it encourages social interactions.
So they don't become shut-ins because of the animals.
Exactly.
Well, the criteria, though. I mean, Janine, what, peacocks? What's the criteria for what can be deemed one of these animals?
Now, there's no official designation. What tends to happen is what's acceptable by, say, airlines or landlords, and there's been a few legal cases. What they request is that someone has an official diagnosis of a confirmed mental condition, that they are under treatment by a licensed mental health care professional, and that healthcare professional has written a letter indicating that the individual requires this animal for treatment of their condition.
Okay. Now, I have to admit, I'm skeptical when it comes to lizards providing people comfort, but apparently some people swear by it. But let me ask you this. I'm skeptical about this. So I have some sort of mental health issue, and I find I get comfort from a chicken or a rat. Does everybody else in the world have to put up with me walking around with my chicken or rat no matter where I go? Or on a plane?
No, absolutely not. Air Canada sets limits that they will only accept dogs in cabin as emotional support animals. And many...
Cats must be ticked.
Well...
Dogs only.
Yeah, dogs only. And I think the important thing to remember is, unlike service animals, the animals have not been certified. They haven't been trained. We don't necessarily know what their behavior is going to be like, what their temperament's going to be like, which is always concerning. So some of the pressure does rely, again, on that mental health professional to make that designation for them. But we do have to balance out the needs of the general public versus the needs of the individual.
Well,
absolutely.
I'm glad you put it that way, because I'm sort of thinking, someone who's got some kind of canine phobia, and then somebody who's got PTSD, both in the same flight. I mean, who takes priority?
Absolutely. It is a really tricky balance, and there have been some legal cases trying to address the issue, and it is tangly, and it is in its infancy.
Right.
What we can tell you, what the research does show, and this applies to really any animal, although the majority of the research has been done on dogs, cats, horses, and dolphins, is that when humans have...
Some more portable than others.
Well, yes. Hopefully we're not getting dolphins on the airplane. No, what it shows is that contact with an animal by a human does increase your oxytocin levels. That's the fun hormone. That's the happy hormone.
Okay.
That's the one that you get when you're first falling in love, starting a new relationship. It's the one that makes you feel great.
Okay, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that there are some, like it affects your cortisol levels. It helps to decrease those.
Okay, so there's brain chemistry.
There is brain chemistry. It also affects you physiologically, so it can decrease your heart rate, it can decrease your blood pressure.
Okay.
However, those results are temporary.
I'm going to wind this down, put you on the spot.
Sure.
Would a peacock give you any comfort? I mean, that's a big bloody bird.
Yeah.
Have you seen the size of that thing?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Janine Hubbard, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
She's great, but it is a tangly issue because human beings do bond with
spiders, apparently. Big tarantula.
I mean, I'm a dog and a cat lover. I love horses, but I was looking after my son's aquarium when he went away.
Okay. Yeah.
And I got really attached to the angelfish. I mean, people do make these attachments, but there have to be some rules.
So the next time you're flying with Debbie, she'll have a bag with a fish in it.
It died.
Oh, okay, never mind. Too soon.
Could Barry Sherman's cousin be responsible for his death?
I probably had reasons to lash out, to do the dirty deed.
This weather forecast has been brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. 5,000 kilometers of groomed trails are waiting to be explored. Embrace winter today.
Welcome back once again. Well, some of us snow lovers, snowshoers, skiers and everything would like to have a little of what they're getting in Labrador. Not as much, but we've had rain. It's been so warm.
It's true. And yet another day today with widespread warm-up temps, rain all up the west coast. It will mix back to snow tonight, and so I want to show this map again just to have everybody prepared that when we wake up in the morning, well, it's back to winter along the west coast. Onshore flurries do kick in through the overnight after a little bit of snow on the backside of this front. Even central Newfoundland, a trace to up to 2 centimeters. And then the Burin and the Avalon, the best chance of seeing accumulations closer to 5 centimeters in terms of central and eastern parts of the island. Again, by the end of Saturday, talking about 5 to 10, maybe even as much as 15 centimeters for the west coast up towards the northern peninsula. 15 to 25 centimeters, Happy Valley, Goose Bay to Cartwright and Makkovik. Could even squeak out some 30 centimeter totals there. Amounts will really drop off as you work your way to the north and west. Here's a look at your warnings. Winter storm warnings in effect for the coast. Snowfall warnings in effect for Happy Valley Goose Bay. There's an extreme cold warning in effect for Western Labrador. Wind chills will approach -50 tomorrow morning. Wind warnings are in effect for the southeast and down the west coast of the island, the northern peninsula, all the way down to Corner Brook. And we have Wreck House wind warning in effect as well, and a rainfall warning that's still in effect for that southwest coast. And that rainfall warning will come to an end as you see this big push of warm air. 6, 7, 8, 9 degree temperatures ahead of it, but boy, the front is rolling through. Charlottetown has just dropped below 0, New Brunswick, and again, that cold air will be swinging in on the other side of the system, and we will see the rain mixing back to snow as the cold front moves through. First for western parts of Newfoundland tonight, then central. Watch your timeline here, and note the winds are going to be really gusty ahead of the front. So we're talking 80 to 90 kilometer per hour gusts. Once again, Wreck House in those 100 kilometer per hour range, as well as exposed areas of the west coast. And note through the late evening is when we'll start to see some of those wet flakes mixing in along the west coast of the island. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, we're already mixing with some rain and snow, likely wet snow still by 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in St. John's, but it won't take long to start accumulating on the ground. Still some pretty gusty winds tomorrow morning along the coast of Labrador, and there will be our shift to westerly winds through that early to mid-morning for St. John's. So we'll start near the freezing mark here. Have a look at these temps because these are where we'll start the day. Much different than where we'll finish the day, and I'll show you that in a second. There are those winds gusting to 70 even tomorrow morning along the west coast, hence the onshore flurries that'll fire up. -35 the actual temperature to start the day in western Labrador. So as we roll throughout the morning, the snow clears off. Chance of flurries, the best chance for the Burin, the southern Avalon, and along the west coast of the island. Could see some flurries dancing, though, here into St. John's, even into the afternoon. And these are your late afternoon temperatures. So we go from the freezing mark in the morning to -7 into the afternoon. Winds still gusting to 70, so wind chills well into the minus double digits. It's going to be a cold one. Minus double digits and teens for the west coast is where we'll fall. We'll fall into the minus teens for southeastern Labrador, steady near -22 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and -30 in western Labrador. Some good news, well, Sunday's a lot quieter. Onshore flurries come to an end. Bit of a break, and then our next system starts to approach as we roll into the Sunday afternoon time period. Some light snow along the west coast. Late day chance of flurries into Happy Valley Goose Bay. Temperatures not so bad, not quite as cool, and again the wind's a lot lighter, so certainly a better day for getting out. -22 will be the name of the game for you folks in Labrador. But guess what? This system, yet another snow to rain maker for the island. More snow for Labrador. We'll talk more about this coming up in your long range. Debbie and Anthony.
There's new information tonight on the murders of Barry and Honey Sherman, one of Canada's richest couples.
A cousin of Barry Sherman is making an extraordinary and unsubstantiated allegation against him. Kerry Winters says he was asked by Sherman to arrange the murder of his wife Honey in the 1990s. Bob McEwen has the CBC News Fifth Estate television exclusive.
He works as a construction site supervisor, a far cry from the wealth and power his billionaire cousin Barry Sherman enjoyed. And Kerry Winter is bitter.
He cared about one thing: money. Making lots of it, and not caring who he destroyed, who he stepped on.
Bitter because Kerry Winter and his 3 brothers claim Sherman took over their father's drug company, costing them a financial share worth hundreds of millions. Winter and his siblings sued, seeking a piece of the Apotex fortune. But last September, an Ontario Superior Court judge dismissed the case as wishful thinking. The Winters are appealing, but Kerry Winter has been ordered to pay Sherman back $8 million in promissory notes he signed over the years.
I was betrayed. My cousin hurt me, and now I want to hurt him.
Police have determined Barry and Honey Sherman were both victims of a targeted homicide. But now Kerry Winter insists, without evidence, that Barry could have killed his wife. Because Winter claims in the late 1990s, Barry Sherman asked him to arrange a contract hit on her.
There was a time in his office that he turned to me and he said, "Kerry, I want you to do me a favor." And I said, "What's that, Barry?" He said, "I want you to whack my wife." And I said, "Come on, Barry. You want me to kill your wife?" He goes, "I didn't say you. You know some people. Could you arrange that for me?"
What do you believe members of the family and their legal representatives will say about this?
I think they would say that he's possibly lying. He's trying to drag Barry's good name through the mud. He's got a hidden agenda. He's got a vendetta. He's being spiteful, vengeful.
His claim is unsubstantiated. So we put Kerry Winter through a 3-hour lie detector test administered by John Gallianos, a former Quebec homicide investigator and a veteran polygraph examiner. While not admissible in court, polygraphs are commonly used by police officers to determine truthfulness.
Are you lying when you say that Barry Sherman told you that he wanted his wife killed?
No. Kerry Winter failed.
There's something that you're hiding in.
So I failed.
Yeah, you failed. Yeah, you failed.
Winter seemed shaken. All of which begs another question. Could Kerry Winter have murdered the man he readily admits he hated so much?
I probably had reasons to lash out, to do the dirty deed.
This would be asked of you by anybody. Did you kill Honey and Barry Sherman?
Absolutely not. I had nothing to do with it. I don't know who did it.
Toronto police have asked him to come in for an interview. Winter says they told him he is not a suspect and that there is no evidence he is.
Well, Bob's investigation airs tonight on CBC television.
You can watch The Fifth Estate at 9:30 Island time.
So this is going to take a whole lot more practice, but the ice is in great shape for real curlers. We'll meet the man who keeps it that way right after the break.
Cousins come together for the 41st Evans family reunion on the point precious to the family that first settled it. Sunday at noon and Monday at 7.
The men's provincial curling competition is heading into the home stretch at the St. John's Curling Club in the Remax Centre. The winner of the tankard on Sunday will head to the Briar next month. But one of the unsung heroes who helps these teams get ready for top-notch competition is the ice technician. That's Harold Walters. When he accepted the club manager job 5 years ago, They threw in another pretty important job at the club, official ice technician.
I never had a clue about that. I'm totally green, so I went and did some courses, and here I am.
It was more than just a few courses. Harold learned from other ice makers and studied how they did things at big events like the Briar.
So right now we're adding the top coat of pebble. The pebble is what the rocks ride on. If it were just flat ice, then the rocks wouldn't go anywhere. After we put our coats of pebble on, we go over this with a very light scrape, and what it does, it just takes the tops right off the tops of the pebble. If we didn't do this, when you run your rocks over it, the pebble would get crushed to pieces and basically break down very quickly and wouldn't last very long throughout the game. Curlers like about 4.5 to 5 feet of curl and fast ice. 15 seconds from hog line to hog line. That's what's standard at national events, and that's what we try to get here.
Harold's ice-making abilities are getting the thumbs up from curlers, including from two of the best in the world, Brett Gallant and Jeff Walker with the Guju team. How important is it, Brett, to have good quality ice to compete at the level you do?
Well, you want to be able to practice and simulate game conditions. So when the ice here in St. John's is the same as the ice we get when we travel all around the world, helps us be at the top of our game. So Harold does a great job just making sure our conditions here are the same as we're going to get at the Briar in an arena or basically anywhere.
The guys were saying it's a little slower, but it's still 14.5, 15 seconds.
That's good. He's great. I mean, he's, like I said, he's trying to learn. He's only been doing it for a short, I think, 5 or 6 years, and he's always learning as much as he can. So anything that we can give him, that he's going to take it and try something with it.
Why is it important for, players like Jeff and Brett to practice on good quality ice?
It's about feel. If you're practicing, you want the exact same feel that you're going to get in game conditions. And if the ice is slow or sluggish or doesn't curl, then you're practicing with something that's totally irrelevant. So.
And what kind of feedback are you getting?
I'm getting pretty good feedback. There are people here saying it's some of the best ice they've seen in many years, if not ever. So
I guess you look at the game of curling a whole lot differently than most of us.
I certainly do, and I listen to comments on TV at the Nationals about curling clubs not being able to provide quality curling ice, and I sort of cringe at that because I know it can be done with a lot of work and effort and conditions.
So you've got a pretty significant tournament on the go here now, the provincial men's. Is there anything that keeps you up at night worrying about the ice?
I wake up a lot and wondering what I might be able to do differently to keep it. The hardest thing here is when it gets warm outside, it gets warm inside, and then if the pebble starts to break down 3/4 of the way through the game, then curlers get upset. So I try to avoid that, and yeah, I wake up a little bit during the night.
So is he like the 6th man on the team?
Yeah, you could say that.
I think so, yeah. I would definitely be the 6th man on every team. These guys won't take me with them, unfortunately, but yeah, I try to help them out wherever I can.
Oh, it's great to meet Harold.
Yeah.
He's part scientist and part artist, they say. Now, of course, the tankard action is continuing at the club. The latest results has Team Smith still out front with a 7-0 record. Team Boland and Team Simmons are next, each with 5 wins and 2 losses as they battle it out for 2nd place.
There's been some great action all week, and those teams are all on the ice again tonight as we move closer to the big championship games over the weekend, and it's going to be interesting to see who eventually wins the tankard, and of course, with the Guju already there. Bit of novelty this year. We'll see who represents this province at the Briar.
There's a lot of excitement down there.
No doubt.
Now, still with sports, if you think Carl English is a sharp basketball shooter now, you should have seen him as a 14-year-old.
Indeed, the star player of the Edge posted a video to Instagram yesterday that someone recently sent to him, and this is from a game that English played when he was a teenager. So that is 14-year-old Carl English. Traveling up the court with the ball. The year is 1995. And there you go. He's in Fathom Academy in St. Blaise.
Even at that age, he could nail the basket from a distance. Carl posted that. He was amazed to watch this family, or this video with his family. He even joked that there wasn't much to him at the time.
He was fairly slender. Still making those big shots, though. Many people, of course, know his story of growing up in Patrick's Cove near Cape St. Mary's, where he practiced basketball with a beaten-up makeshift backboard and a net that was on the highway. He says back then he was just a, quote, 14-year-old kid not knowing what the future would hold.
And what's that, 20, 30? How old is he now? He's 36.
Do the math, right?
Yeah, we know where he landed, and it's nice to have him back home.
And now lots of 14-year-olds looking up to him as a basketball player.
Now, speaking of Carl's old school Fatima Academy, the people at the Edge basketball team tell us that every single student and teacher at the school are being brought to St. John's for tomorrow night's game to watch Carl and the Edge in action.
Right, and they'll play the Moncton Magic. Obviously, it's going to be quite the night, very magical for some of those students. And we're told that Carl English is going to be making some special time for them right after the game. He didn't see a shadow, but he did see a hand he liked.
A special part of our program every night. Our young athlete is with us. This is Mackenzie Earl of Corner Brook. Mackenzie is 3 years old and loves playing soccer.
Great big smile. This past summer, Mackenzie played on the Corner Brook Timbits team.
Way to go, Mackenzie. You're today's young athlete of the day.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Okay, so before we get to your weather, let's talk about Groundhog Day. Everybody's talking about it today.
Of course, today that North American groundhogs finally get their moment in the sun and the attention and have their voice heard. But as you may know, or you've probably heard because you studied the weather and groundhogs and things, Nova Scotia's Shubenacadie Sam was up to some shenanigans today. Not only did he try to escape from his enclosure, but he took a chunk of one of our reporters. Take a look.
So here's the scene. Sam emerged from his lair, and after failing to see his shadow, he tried to make a run for it. Our reporter Brett Ruskin rushed over, tried to step in, but that's when Sam bit him.
Yep. Ouch.
Whiz.
Now, there you go. Brett wasn't seriously injured, but it was enough to send him off to the hospital to get a shot.
It was live, I believe.
Yeah, it was, right?
As they say, getting a little too close to your story.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Sam didn't see his shadow.
No.
But Puxatawny Phil and Wyerton Willie did see their shadow. So, where does that leave us here in Newfoundland and Labrador? Well, of course, there they are. The 6 more weeks of winter, but me, I say see you in May.
Yeah.
Look where Wyerton lives and Puxatawny.
Yeah.
And Ryan's
what
gone
do they
back
know?
to wherever he is.
I've gone back into my burrow because, you know what, if we only get 6 more weeks, I think that would be considered a good spring here in Newfoundland and Labrador. I did post a piece at cbc.ca/NL today. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I did look forward, certainly over the next week. Really no sign of winter settling into Newfoundland at all. More of the same, more warm-ups. But this is the Canadian Prediction Center forecast as we roll through the next month. And this is from February 5th to March 5th. And you can see where here across Newfoundland, the blue is where temperatures have a higher probability of being below normal. And no color is near normal. And so it looks like near to even below normal possibilities across Newfoundland for the latter half of February and perhaps into early March. That's certainly not what we've been seeing in terms of the above normal temps we've been seeing on the island. And this is, again, big grain of salt territory. You're really piling the salt on here. But this is the outlook for March, April, and into May. And you can see where, again, colors in blue have a higher probability of below normal temperatures. There's Labrador, good chance of that. Newfoundland, kind of split here with the southeast near normal and the northwest half of the island below normal. Again, grain of salt territory, but always nice to look forward and just see how these things do play out. It's going to take quite a shift to interrupt this pattern, which has been underway for basically 2 months. We've been seeing through December and January these big pushes of warm air. Systems have been tracking over the Gulf and into Labrador, and that's what we'll see again for tonight into tomorrow. The heavy snow will be across Labrador, where records are being neared in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Rain to snow across the island, and this is how it will play out. And there's that track that has been so common over the last 2 months. Saturday morning we'll go from rain back to snow. Could see 5 centimeters as I just showed you there across eastern parts of Newfoundland. It's a quieter Sunday, and then watch our next system. Bit of snow on the leading edge. Once again, it's another system that's going to be moving into the Gulf, and so it's snow changing to rain for the west coast as we roll throughout the Sunday night, Monday time period with a big push of warm air, more snow for you folks in Labrador. Cooling down for Tuesday, but once again, the roller coaster ride continues and we see more snow changing to rain for Thursday across the island, and then back to snow as we roll into the Friday time period. So the roller coaster ride, it's not going anywhere over the next 7 days. It's beyond that models are kind of indicating we might see a bit of a change up. So we'll keep you posted on that, obviously, as we go week to week here. There, again, some very chilly temperatures as we roll into the Saturday time period. And again on Monday for Labrador into Tuesday, highs near -30 right through that 7-day in Western Labrador. Debbie and Anthony.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, we have another Whaddie app feature for you tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Mark Cumby is going to introduce us now to Katarina Rideout and her saltwater creations. She takes items that she finds on the beach and she turns them into jewelry and home decor.
Saltwater creations is just something I came up with about a year ago. I needed a hobby. I needed something to do because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And in the evenings when my kids would go to bed, I came down here with all my beach treasures. Basically, I'm taking sea glass that I find on the beach and turning it into art and home decor. Lots of beach combing. Always got little bags or buckets in the car, and every beach we drive past, we get a stop. So 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, handful of glass, shells, feathers, anything. And the last couple beaches I went to, I actually, as I picked up glass, I also picked up garbage. So to help reduce a bit of plastic in the ocean. always since I was a little girl. Just loved going to the beach, just loved picking up treasures. You'd never know what you would find. And the history behind it, you don't know where it came from. So, you know, a lot of research to, you know, to see where the colors, what they used to be, you know, the rarity behind the colors, it's just kind of, there's something kind of magical, I guess, you know, picking up this piece and you're like, what did this belong to? Like, you know, pirates could have had that. So it's, I don't know, it's just something cool. And when you find that marble or that red piece or orange piece or big piece of blue, you're just like, holy, like this is cool.
Turning now to national and international news, there was a dramatic scene at the sentencing hearing for disgraced gymnastics coach Larry Nassar. The father of 3 of Nassar's victims suddenly lunged at him across the courtroom and had to be restrained by several guards. 2 of the man's daughters had just given testimony, and it was his first time hearing some of it. The man later apologized to the court. The judge said he would not be charged for the disruption. This is Nassar's 3rd sentencing hearing. At last week's hearing, 150 victims testified.
3 people are dead after a helicopter crash last night in Quebec. It happened near Drummondville, northeast of Montreal. Authorities say that at about 9 o'clock, the helicopter slammed into a field and then caught fire. There were no survivors. The victims were the pilot, his daughter, and a friend. The Transportation Safety Board investigation is now underway.
It's a Canadian entrepreneur's dream. Make a splash on the popular CBC show Dragon's Den and watch your sales take off. That's what happened to a company called Neuro Reset. It makes a line of wearable clips that are supposed to improve your balance, strength, and joint function. But an investigation by CBC Marketplace reveals the science behind the claims is highly questionable. Asha Tomlinson reports.
And now, you'll see how much stronger you are. And he's rock solid.
It's a win when 1 dragon buys in, but 5? That's Ontario chiropractor Mark Meadis's claim to fame because of these tiny NeuroConnect clips, costing up to $120. He says they improve your balance, optimize joint and muscle function because of a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. A whole lot of fancy scientific words.
They change the atomic structure of the components of these devices to cause the nervous system to respond when you're wearing them.
And the dragons were hooked.
Hey, you guys, we bought some paper clips and some spray for $100,000.
After some angry viewer emails questioning the dragon's decision and the product, we decided to put these clips to the test on 10 people in a university lab, measuring both balance and strength. And we spent the day testing these $80 NeuroConnect clips, these generic name tag type clips, and no clips at all.
So we found there's no statistical difference among the 3 conditions.
Nothing.
No clear difference.
So we take our results to the inventor. He disagrees with our method, but has no credible studies on his own clips. So you think it's okay then to sell these products just based on testimonials, anecdotal evidence, and the claims that you're making?
I do, because it's helping people. And for those it doesn't help, they can send it back and we give their money back.
As for the dragons, one viewer said that they can't believe the dragons fell for it.
Right. Well,
what do you make of that?
But we didn't make the investment in the end, right? So, you know, we may seem gullible, but I can assure you we are not gullible. Nobody wants to sell a product that's not living up to its claims.
Meantime, Mark Meadis has stopped selling 2 of his products for now because Health Canada has flagged their unapproved claims. Asha Tomlinson, CBC News, Toronto.
A love of nature and a quest to fill his days in retirement are what led one man in New Brunswick to woodworking. It turned out that he had the skill and the patience to be really good at it, and now he's crafted a remarkable collection of exquisite carvings. Shane Fowler has his story.
In the cold winter air in Hanwell, it's clear the birds appreciate the food left in the feeder, but it's inside this home that there are dozens of birds of another feather. With wings of wood, Brian Dykman's house is a menagerie of herons, hawks, and unfinished owls. These carvings perch everywhere in the home, products of his cozy workshop. But the ability to turn trees avian is a talent Dykeman only uncovered after his retirement.
All my life, I figured I'd like to be able to carve. Anytime I picked up a knife, it just seemed like a lot of hard work.
And he's done so many, he admits it's like having owls in the family.
Well, actually the piece that I finished this morning, it's 334th.
Dykeman's work earned him many awards, and part of what sets these birds apart is the marrying of his skill with the brush, along with that of the blade.
The painting is, for most woodcarvers, the painting is a real difficult part because and it takes a long time to develop the painting skills as well.
He doesn't compete much anymore. Instead, he's focusing on sharing his talents with other birds of a wooden feather. Each Thursday, his workshop is full of others looking to master the craft as he did.
It's about 20% talent and 80% patience to do this. It's not, I had no artistic ability and just started into it, and it's just, you get captured in it.
And while Dykeman does sell his creations at a pair of shows each year, he says the biggest reason for doing so is to free up more space so he can carve some more. Shane Fowler, CBC News, Hanwell.
Well,
is that what I think it is?
That is a dog.
Okay.
And he is standing.
Oh dear.
So that's a pretty good clue as to where he might be, especially with all the recent attention in this neck of the woods. But we won't give it away. We'll let you have a crack at it, and we'll reveal after the break.
Up in the big land. Well, if you're going to be one of the millions of Canadians like you tuning into the Super Bowl this weekend,
there's a very good chance that you're going to catch the creations of a Calgary company that specializes in mascots.
They're watching one of my creations up on the screen. I get bragging rights. So, look at that, it's mine, you know. So yeah, it's fun.
It's Rob Hayward. He's a prop maker with the company Street Characters, and he's worked on the New England Patriots mascot, Pat Patriot.
The company is also behind Swoop of the Philadelphia Eagles. Hayward says it's just great to see two of the creations that he made make it to the big game.
It's got a conflict of interest, right? Mascots for both sides. You can't lose.
That's true. Any predictions?
Reluctantly, the Patriots.
Yeah, how do you go against Brady?
Yeah.
All
okay,
right.
it is.
Speaking of celebrating the Super Bowl, have a look.
Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Jerry and Patsy Hall of Portugal Cove, St. Philip's. It's a golden anniversary as well for Ed and Kathy Coombs. Happy 91st birthday yesterday to Ivy Snook, formerly of Flat Bay, now in Alberta. Congratulations to Pat and Linda O'Brien on their 58th wedding anniversary. They're from Bell Island and are now in Cambridge, Ontario.
Happy 58th anniversary to Reg and Grace Reeder in Cox's Cove. Wishing a happy 56th anniversary to Saul and Rowena Marr, formerly of Greens Pond, now living in St. John's. Happy 90th birthday to Wilbert Weir of Little Bay Islands, celebrated on January 30th. And a happy 98th birthday yesterday to Annie Walters, formerly of Petley Random Island, now residing in Clarenville.
Happy 58th anniversary to James and Maude Delaney of St. John's. Their special day is coming up on the 5th. Happy 62nd anniversary on Sunday to Ralph and Selma Piercy of Kelligrews. Happy birthday to Gerald Lenahan of Admiral's Beach, now in Perry's Cove, who was 92 January 31st. A special birthday now, Mary Pickett of Fogo, now in Joe Bat's Arm, will celebrate her 100th birthday February 6th. Happy 92nd birthday yesterday to Winnie Long.
Happy 57th anniversary to Lawrence and Pearl Hilliard from St. John's Within, who celebrated on January 31st. And wishing Bertha Mercer in Bay Roberts a very special 97th birthday. She celebrated on the 31st. And a happy 92nd birthday yesterday to Lloyd Harrell, originally from Corner Brook, currently living in Meadows. And a happy 92nd to James Hickey from Logie Bay. Happiest birthday greetings to Mary Drake of Placentia, who celebrated her 106th birthday yesterday. Way to go.
Congratulations to Shirley and George Nichols of Deer Lake, who celebrated 56 years of marriage yesterday. Junior and Shirley Gifford from Coley's Point are celebrating their 50th anniversary today. Congratulations. Another golden couple celebrating today. Happy 50th to Noah and June Barrett of Corner Brook. Congratulations to Genevieve and Joseph Doyle, who celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary yesterday. Happy 90th birthday today to Randy Whiteway, formerly of Bishop's Falls, now in St. John's.
Happy 91st birthday to Florence Humby of Somerville. She celebrated on January 29th. And happy anniversary to Calvin and Maureen Norris of Bay de Verde, who celebrated their 50th also on January 31st. A happy 57th wedding anniversary this Sunday to Gordon and Joyce Bursey, formerly of Clarenville, now living in Labrador City. And a happy 99th birthday yesterday to Clarissa Ellsworth from Roddington, now residing in St. Anthony. And Mary Parsons Morris, she is 98 years old tomorrow. Congratulations.
Anniversary greetings to Lloyd and Joyce Bath of Twillingate, who are celebrating 62 years of marriage today. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Wallace and Mary Ann Tremblett of Charleston, Bonavista Bay. Happy 60th anniversary to Gloria and Charles Kennedy of Bishop's Falls, who will celebrate on Sunday. Happy birthday to Esther Keeping of Ramia, who turns 94 tomorrow. And congratulations to John and Roseanne Everson of Flat Rock, who will be celebrating their 53rd wedding anniversary on the 6th.
All right, so this was the picture, and yeah, the trees were a big giveaway, obviously, and all of the snow. And we do go to Happy Valley Goose Bay, where there is a little bit of snow.
I wonder how tall that dog is. I'm curious.
He looks like, based on the color and the ears, I'd say he's perhaps part husky, so yeah, he looks like a big dog. And Paul West said, yes, he's standing up there, so there's a lot of snow on the ground.
He's looking for that barbecue that went missing earlier in the show.
That's right. Unreal.
Wow. I hope they don't get too much more. That's a lot of shoveling.
I wish we could have some.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you Monday.
Good night, everyone.
Bye now.